Colon cancer is the third most common cancer affecting Bahamians. Your risk of developing colon cancer is increased if you have a personal history of colorectal cancer or colon polyps, a family history of colon cancer, or inflammatory bowel diseases such as ulcerative colitis. Other factors that can increase your risk of developing colon cancer are low fiber, high fat diets, a sedentary lifestyle, obesity, smoking, and alcohol. You can take steps to reduce your risk of colon cancer by making specific lifestyle changes. Eat a variety of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. These foods contain fiber, minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants, which may play a role in cancer prevention. Drink alcohol in moderation or not at all. Do not smoke. Exercise with a goal of getting in at least 30 minutes each day. If you've been inactive, start slowly and gradually build up to 30 minutes. Also, talk to your doctor before starting any exercise program. Maintain a healthy weight. If you're at a healthy weight, maintain it by combining a well-balanced diet with daily exercise. If you need to lose weight, ask your doctor about healthy ways to achieve your goal. Colon cancer screening can also help to prevent colon cancer or lead to its early detection when treatment is most effective. If you're 45 years or older, speak to your doctor about having a colonoscopy or some form of colon cancer screening that may be appropriate for you. I'm Dr. Eugene Marcus Cooper. Pay attention to your health. Get the facts and discuss colon cancer with your physician today.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report, the Prime Minister reinforcing his commitment to workers. Highlights from the National Workers' Golden Awards. Police on the manhunt for 3 men believed responsible for a shooting. And in sports, the Long Island Regatta making big waves. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now. Good evening, I'm Lloyd Allen, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition on this first weekend in the month of June. In the news, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis Casey is very optimistic on the direction of the economy. He, along with members of his cabinet, participated in the annual Randall Fox Labor Day Parade here in the capital yesterday. It's a tradition for the Progressive Liberal Party, having marched with Labor for decades and signed a number of memorandums of understanding with them since 1977. In an interview with our Vaughn Aubrey on Labor Day, the Prime Minister appeared upbeat.
Is on the right track. We are seeing signs of prosperity. We just want to ensure that the economy is working for all of us and not just some of us. And that is part of our job, to ensure that this boom that this economy has experienced reaches to that young boy who lives on 4th Street in Coconut Grove. And until that happens, our job will not be complete.
Now, while pleased that his government, since coming to office in September of 2021, has signed 12.5 industrial agreements with union, he says this will continue to champion the cause for workers.
And we are working towards at least a livable wage. In this day and age, we have been attempting to ensure that people who work are able to earn a salary that could at least take care of their basic needs. And that has been challenging in these times, particularly because of some of the external forces that we have to contend with. Being a consumptive economy, just importing all that we have. And so we are working towards reaching that ultimate goal of ensuring that at the end of the day, workers will be able to earn a salary that at least will allow them to take care of their basic needs.
Now, yesterday, the Minister of Labor, the Honorable Keith Bell, also echoed the Prime Minister's sentiments regarding the economy being on the right track and the fact that there appears to be labor harmony. He was then asked this.
What do you do to stay ahead of the curve? Well, the first thing we did as a government, and we had in our blueprint for change, that we were going to increase minimum wage. And I think through God's grace and mercy, we were able to achieve that in such record time. We are now moving towards a livable wage. We are implementing components of the Country Decent Work Program, and I must commend the Department of Labor, the Ministry of Labor and Immigration, and certainly the Director Faxon and the team at the National Tripartite Council for the work that they're doing. We're now moving towards a livable wage. And so I invite every Bahamian to get in, do the research, listen attentively, and contribute to this debate as we move towards a livable wage. We're moving towards a national apprenticeship program. And so there are a whole lot of things that is going on, and there's a lot to be excited about.
The Minister of Labor noted that the work of union leaders in collaboration with the government has led to 18 signed agreements since government came in office in 2021.
Again, I commend Belinda Bilton and certainly Obi Ferguson and all of the unions, all of the persons which really did a lot of the heavy lifting to ensure that we stayed at the table and we worked through all of these collective bargaining agreements. And so I wish to commend everybody. I think we can be proud of what we have achieved thus far, and there's still more to come.
Now, Minister of Labor, the Honorable Keith Bell, also joined the leadership of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas Trade Union Congress as it celebrated outstanding Bahamians Wednesday night. The National Workers' Golden Award ceremony was held at the Bahamar Convention Center, where the union's president, Obi Ferguson, was also awarded. Ferguson, however, added that there are many Bahamians more deserving than he is, and he sought to ensure some of them got the recognition. Ferguson also used the occasion to advocate for Bahamian ownership, also highlighting the importance of the trade union movement.
I want to give the assurance of the Honorable Prime Minister and this Davis-led New Day government that we are committed to our agreement that we signed in 2021, and we want to ensure that we continue to build on labor relations. Let me say, of course, too, that to the honorees, I wish to congratulate you and to say that you are being honored for not only what you have done, but what you are also capable of doing. On behalf of the Honorable Prime Minister and the government of the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, I wish to congratulate you, Mr. Obi Ferguson, and your executives for planning and executing this auspicious event this evening. The identification and recognition of these distinguished trade union leaders is an indication of the TUC's commitment to nation building.
The Minister of Labor also addressed the audience, pointing out the presence of Reverend C.B. Moss, also an honoree who is on the mend after a recent medical scare. As we reported earlier, Bell touted efforts of the Davis administration, including the signing of 18 industrial agreements, salary increases in various public sector agreements, and the signing of a 3-year agreement to increase allowance and salary scales through a $40 million industrial agreement. And following the budget communication in the House of Assembly on Wednesday, feedback coming in from a number of advocates who remain excited for the funding proposed to combat domestic violence. Amidst ongoing concerns of increased domestic violence in the country, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis, during his budget address, outlined plans to increase protection for this vulnerable group.
We have allocated funding to build a women's shelter, and we are increasing legal aid support for victims of domestic violence. Both within the social services framework and with a victim care fund within the Office of the Judiciary.
A step in the right direction. Advocates opposing domestic abuse applauding the government for its commitment to assisting those affected by the issue.
It's a wonderful gesture on behalf of the government. There are many women and children who suffer from domestic violence or living with domestic violence. And many of them are in urgent need of some kind of intervention.
It's time now for lights, camera. It's time now for action. We need to see action now. We don't need no more consulting. We don't need to have no more round tables. The government know who's out there, who been in the field, who on the grounds, who advocating for protection of women, female shelters,
Candy Gibson, director of NGO Families of All Murdered Victims, or FOAM, and Cleopatra Christie, administrator at the Bahamas Crisis Center, say this recent announcement paves the way for increased protection. Christie also sharing her thoughts on the announcement and the impact the government facilitated funding will have on those seeking to escape abusive conditions.
Many families, women, children, and their children, they need, who are at risk, need to be protected, and they would need the assistance of the court. So they would go to court for a protection order if they are at risk with their partners or in the relationship they're in. They may require a legal separation. It means that they want to bring an end to the living arrangement. The marriage is still in place, but at least it is an order of the court that allows them to live separate and apart. And or there's the divorce, the final steps that women can take in these abusive relationships.
During the previous budget cycle, the government announced a similar plan. However, Gibson is hoping for further momentum and support.
There are a lot of persons on the ground doing the work and don't even get paid $1 a fit. So we're asking, in the midst of them allocating these funds, make sure there's some subvention funds for persons who are out there already doing the work and who's already housing person in their safe space to create a safer space for them.
And on the other side of the break, we'll tell you just why the 2023 Cat Island Rake and Scrape Festival continues to attract patrons from around the world.
Are you overpaying for low speeds with your internet provider? Stop wasting your money. Switch to BTC for the fastest internet to the most homes in the Bahamas. Get up to 300 megs fiber fast speeds, up to 3 times faster than what you get now. Plus, get 164 TV channels, all for just $42.50 a month for 12 months. That means you'll save $860 for the year. For the fastest speeds across the Bahamas and the lowest price by far, BTC is for you. Switch to the largest fiber network in the Bahamas.
When you combine decadence, luxury, passion, and attention to detail, you've described Café Channy Noël and Patisserie. Signature authentic French macarons, croissants, pastries for breakfast and lunch will take you on a European Epicurean journey. Enjoy your favorite handcrafted cocktails, coffees, cappuccinos, espressos, and lattes. Life is sweet at Café Channy Noël.
The 6th edition of the Bahamas Games are on the way. July 7th through the 15th. Get ready for inter-island sporting competition in the spirit of unity and camaraderie. Which island is gonna win? Our nation, our talent, our games. And look out for the B Games crew coming to your island soon. For more information, call 809-1242 or visit thebahamasgames.org.
Centuries, Bahamians have been known as masters of the sea, from the Lucayans and Arawaks, swashbuckling pirates, quaint workboats to meticulously crafted sloop race boats. Bahamians have evolved the sport of sailing as it plays an integral part of our culture. For more than 70 years, Bahamians have displayed passion and grit for the sport, and it is one that has bridged the gap between young and older Bahamians. We are proud to anchor sailing as the national sport of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Welcome back to the Weekend Report. From the Crime Beat, police need your help in identifying and locating 3 men responsible for shooting a man in Pinewood Gardens this afternoon. According to police, shortly after noon, 3 men entered from a property at the rear of the 28-year-old victim's home on Cascarilla Street, Pinewood Gardens. The man was shot multiple times. The culprits escaped in a small, white, heavily tinted Japanese vehicle. Tonight, the victim is in hospital. His condition remains unknown. Anyone with information is asked to contact police at 911-919, CDU at 502-9991 or 2, or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. And police have successfully recovered a vehicle stolen in an armed robbery Friday night. Police say sometime around 9 p.m., a male was accosted by two armed assailants as he pulled up to a family member's residence on Lancaster Lane and Christie Avenue. They ordered the victim out of his lavender Nissan March before entering and speeding off in a northern direction, followed by a small Japanese vehicle. Police responded, recovered the vehicle license plate AF7839 that had been abandoned in the eastern area of Arawak Key. They also recovered a firearm loaded with ammunition. No arrests have been made and investigations continue. And a number of Bahamians working abroad in areas of disaster management are willing to return home to help build the country's resilience against future natural disasters. So says Executive Chairman of the Disaster Reconstruction Authority, Alex Storr, who spoke to the issue during NEMA's press conference Thursday, marking the start of the 6-month Atlantic hurricane season.
New authority, once it comes on stream, will house a number of these Bahamians because we'll be responsible for a lot more. At the Department of Meteorology, Administrative Works, at just about every government agency, they're actively recruiting young Bahamians and new ideas. And I think, like I said, the Bahamas is in good hands with our homegrown talent.
And several months back, the University of the Bahamas signed a memorandum of understanding with the University of Hawaii for training and scholarships to increase Bahamians' knowledge and capacity. And according to the Honorable Miles LaRota, Minister of State with responsibility for disaster preparedness, management, and reconstruction, here's why that's crucial.
Disaster risk management ain't just finding the old fire chief anymore. The Bahamas is just not a monolithic place where you just put one label and say each one of the islands have been assessed with regards to disaster, their ability to handle a disaster. And with this in mind, we're going to be recruiting and actually have students awarded scholarships with regards to those various disciplines that we'll need as we move the agency further.
And Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Chester Cooper, and the Member of Parliament for South Beach, Balkas Roll, are daring youngsters in the South Beach community to put in the work to secure bright futures for themselves. The teen boys and girls who completed a training program for at-risk youth were celebrated during a pinning and award ceremony at the National Training Agency Thursday night.
Explore your horizons. And I didn't know how I would get to college either, but I did. My mother said, "You're going to college." She never told me how. We were poor. We had very little. I cracked rocks to buy lunch. I cut what they call tops, you know, that straw work that they plait the tops with. They plait the straw plats with to make the baskets. That's what I did in primary school and high school. But we were on a mission. She dared me that I was going to college, and therefore I understood very clearly that I needed to get scholarships. And to get scholarships, I had to do my very best. And here I stand today, Deputy Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Roll, the Member of Parliament for the South Beach constituency, further dared the group of young people to make the sacrifices now to reach future goals. He charged that each has the potential to be change makers in their school, community, and the wider Bahamas, and dared them to be the best version of themselves they can be.
The I Dare You project is simply a way of us saying to you, I see you. Or, I see you, boy. Or, Destiny girl, I see you. We acknowledge the positive changes you are developing in your academics, your behavior, your attendance, your deportment, and of course in your leadership. We are not interested in the brightest, not to say that you are not. They will, of course, get their recognition wherever they get it. But we are rather interested in those persons who are simply making an effort to make today better than it was yesterday.
Well, some great advice there. Well, yesterday was day one of the annual Cat Island Rake and Scrape Festival. Weather threatened to put a damper on it, and there was some hiccups and even a late start. But patrons braved the elements to enjoy the native show. Our Jiminy DeSwain is there.
A late start to the Cat Island Rake and Scrape Festival that got underway with performances after midnight. The challenge, a water-soaked park that delayed sound checks that had to be completed before the show could go on. However, once those formalities were squared away, the rhythm band took to the stage with a few songs. That band, of course, is the house band, so next up in terms of the Bahamian lineup of performers was Shine. Cupid. Veronica Bishop.
Kelly, nice little wife, got a work late. But he goes to the bar to catch a few little boys. Play domino, drink liquor and make noise.
Zenobia Pierre with crowd favorites.
Hold on. Anybody out there used to be playing ring play and get in trouble? All the time. Even the boys and all used to be playing ring play. And guess what your favorite one was? Sausage and a loaf of bread. Take the penny sausage and y'all too fresh. I said a brown y'all come to my shorty body. Oh, the brown y'all come to my shorty body.
And Avi, who would close out the show. One of the artists we caught up with was Shine 242, who talks about his expectations for the festival.
It's my second time, and it feels real good to be back. Last year was good, and even though we had some kind of weather this year, today on Labor Day, happy Labor Day, everybody. We still out here partying, so Cat Island Rake and Scrape, it's good. Well, every stage I go on, I try to do my best to deliver a good show. But this is actually the second time in Cat Island, and I have some roots in Cat Island as well. So thankfully, I was on Cat Island last year, so they're more familiar with me this year.
To the stage tonight, the official opening and Battle of the Bands is set for Saturday night. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Jiminy DeSwain.
Well, thanks a lot, Jimmy. Looks like a fun time there. As we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. Sports is after the break.
Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
Help is on the way for corals surrounding our beautiful islands that have been affected by the spread of stony coral tissue loss disease.
And I'm hoping together we can get a handle on the stony coral tissue loss disease together, and I'm confident we can.
In May, the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs, in collaboration with Atlantis Paradise Islands Blue Project Foundation, the University of the Bahamas, and the Perry Institute for Marine Science, signed an agreement for the launch of the Coral Gene Bank at Atlantis.
We are going to create a safe home for these coral refugees, and we are going to ensure
the future of Bahamian coral reefs. This crisis has really made us recommit ourselves to our partners and provide the resources needed to establish a facility that will only not house these corals, but we're going to make sure they reproduce, and we're going to reintroduce them back into the wild.
Marine scientists will gather different species of coral from around our many islands and grow them in the gene bank. If the need arises for coral to be replenished, the bank will be ready.
To date, we have surveyed reefs for stony coral tissue loss disease covering over 1,000 kilometers squared across 10 islands in the Bahamas that include Grand Bahama, New Providence and Rose Island, Abaco, Andros, the Berry Islands, Cat Island, Eleuthera, Northern Exumas, Long Island, and San Salvador. Today, we are proud to be instrumental in the creation of the first living coral gene bank for the Bahamas, an essential weapon in the fight against stony coral tissue loss disease.
Former fisherman and now Minister of Marine Resources Clay Sweeting stressed the importance of the gene bank for the livelihood of fishermen and future generations of Bahamians.
Atlantis will provide a safe place for research on the corals through a 1,150 square foot indoor biosecure facility, which currently houses the Coral Towers Fish Hospital. Additionally, the government, and this is our commitment, will work along with the Perry Institute for Marine Science, which will lend its expertise. As one of the leading non-profit organizations that has done extensive research on stony coral tissue loss disease, we trust that their partnership with the government will be highly beneficial. The Institute will also hold non-paid internships that will assist in educating others, this is very important to me, in regards to how we will play a crucial role in eradicating or at least treating this disease.
For Good to Grow, I'm Giorgio Bain.
In just 50 days, we'll be celebrating our 50th anniversary of independence. And on Sunday, March 21st, an ecumenical service at Evangelistic Temple set the stage for this momentous occasion. Leaders from all Christian denominations gathered to pray for our nation, highlighting the unity of our faith community. The service witnessed the participation of Governor General, the Honorable Cornelius Smith, Prime Minister, Right Honorable Philip Davis, and Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable Michael Pintard, emphasizing the significance of our Christian heritage and values. The Bahamas Brass Band and Bahamian gospel singers filled the air with praise through music, while heartfelt prayers were offered for our families, the future of our beloved country, and our youth. This solemn moment allowed reflection on our journey of the past 50 years and inspired hope for a prosperous future. Ultimately, this prayer service was a reminder of our connection to a great God and a more hopeful and prosperous future. You're watching the Independence Beat. Stay tuned for more.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your Saturday Sports, everyone. While it may have been a holiday on Friday, there was certainly no rest for the sailors competing at the 54th Long Island Regatta. Our Marcellus Hall recaps Friday's races from Salt Pond.
Friday, seeing sailing action continue at the 54th version of the Long Island Regatta in Salt Pond. With a break in the weather, the C-Class boats would head out first. In the first of two races on the schedule, it would be Stephen Knowles picking up right where he left off. Knowles skippering the Sassy Sue across the finish line ahead of the Witty K in second and Bull Reg in third. Second C-Class, once again, Sassy Sue taking the gun. This time Sacrifice was second, with King and Knights securing the third spot.
What you mean on top of him? No. Love got Perry on by the mile. The doubles on top of Chase.
On to the B-Class, where again it would be Stephen Knowles leading the pack. This time at the tiller of the Susan Chase.
Dove still sitting on top.
Defending national champions, the Lonesome Dove would have to settle for second, followed by the Tarian, Lady Sonia, and Barbarian in your top five. Meanwhile, on the shore and with a break in the action, Fans treated to a cultural show featuring a number of different activities, including the planting of the maypole by some of the local youngsters. All in all, it was a wonderful display of Bahamian culture that was well received by the crowd. That would prove to be the fitting end to the day, as once again the skies would open up, forcing the cancellation of the A-class race. One final day of competition to go. Anticipation is building for the grand finale. Reporting for ZNS Total Sports in Salt Pond, Long Island, I'm Marcellus Hall.
Also today, the final round of the 2023 Orjan Lindroth Memorial Chess Tournament over the Super Club Breezers, where the prize for the first place in the open section is $16,500. We got it with a Bahamas Chess Federation executive on how the week has played out so far.
The competition has been really intense. In both fields, in the open field and the under 1700 rated. Very impressive. We have a lot of very skilled and experienced players here from several countries around the world, and I've been able to watch a number of the games, and it's very exciting. And I would say that this tournament so far is at a level that is even higher than we expected. It's definitely an international tournament.
And there was a lot of international flavor this year as well.
We only had a total field of about 30 players. This year, that has doubled. We have some 60-plus players that are contesting. And from a number of countries, of course, Bahamas, we have Jamaica, we have Spain, we have a player from Serbia, a grandmaster, Luka. We have other countries. We had a Indian player, and a number of other countries, but I think there's about 10 countries altogether. Yeah.
And we had a youngster earn some very valuable experience this week.
It is nerve-wracking, actually, since I know everybody I'm playing is actually above me, but that also gives me determination to play better.
Well, yesterday we introduced you to Bahamian Collegiate baseball player Dalen Adderley, who had a stellar season for his Texas Southern University Tigers. Adderley, who has major league aspirations, was asked why he opted for the collegiate route.
And the reality of it, not everybody's going to play professional baseball. So my mom always wanted me to, get my education and make sure that, the plan B that people always say. But, I just took it as a way to get competitive, went to collegiate route so you could play against all kinds of players from everywhere, all parts of the world. So I felt like that's very important to elevating your game. You can't just play against people that you know all the time. You got to play against people that don't know you and can really challenge your skill set.
That's a look at your sports on this Saturday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
This is the super versatile Ring stick-up cam. It goes indoors, outdoors, outdoors in the rain. It's got two-way talk. Hey, Eddie. Works with Alexa. Comes in tons of power options and works with Ring Alarm to start recording automatically if something's going on. Seriously? Seriously. So start protecting your home with the easy installing indoor-outdoor stick-up cam by Ring.
And now a look at tonight's weather forecast. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us in studio with the latest temperatures. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Lloyd. After days of intermittent rain, occasional thunderstorms, the skies eventually open up partially today. Right now, we're under partly cloudy skies. Temperature at 83 degrees, relative humidity 67%. We have east-southeast winds at 9 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,005.5 millibars. That is 29.69 inches, and the pressure is falling. Temperatures around the Five Islands this evening, 84 degrees in Marshall, Babaco, Green Toll Key, and Freeport, Grand Bahama, the Berry Islands, and Alisson Bimini also at 84. Picking up some more 84s in Harbor Island and Roxanne, Lutra. Black Point, Exuma, 85 degrees, 85 in Kemp Space, St. Andros. Fresh Creek, Central Andros, 87 degrees there, 83 in Otterson, Cadalum, San Salvador, and Rum Key. Georgetown, Exuma, a little warmer at 85. 84s again in Ragged Island, Cloudstown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Megawana, 80 degrees. Ackland's 80 degrees. Matchtown, Unagua, 82. And the Turks and Caicos Islands also reporting 82 degrees. Boating forecast tonight through tomorrow. Light and variable winds for the northwestern islands. Those flat sea conditions will continue, but they will be locally higher near showers and thunderstorms. Your high tide tonight, 8:13. Another high tide at 8:29 tomorrow morning for the central and southeastern islands. You can expect a southwest flow at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Satellite pictures showing much of the precipitation that move offshore, except for the extreme southeast Bahamas, where they will continue to receive showers and isolated thunderstorms. And then we have that low pressure system in the Gulf of Mexico that is trekking towards the east, and that too will usher some more showers over the northwest Bahamas over the next couple of days. Tonight we're looking at partly cloudy, thunderstorms in spots this evening, followed by a couple of showers developing late tonight with your low temperature just around 77 degrees. And tomorrow we're looking at a couple more showers in the morning, otherwise a partly sunny day with a high temperature of 86 degrees. Extended weather forecast looking like this. Off and on showers into Monday. Thereafter, things clear up quite nicely on Tuesday. But the clouds return middle of the week on Wednesday, and we'll see more heavy showers and thunderstorms returning to the forecast as of Wednesday heading into the weekend. Lloyd?
Well, thanks a lot, Basil. And that will end the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. We thank you for continuing to make ZNS your #1 news and information network, as only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Lloyd Allen. Thanks for watching, and good night.